Coming up in today's video, I do an impression of Zloy. Why? And then my game crashes. And then something very peculiar happens. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Truly Bedrock Season 3. Today I get up to many things, but before we get to that, let's look at all the things that I've been doing since the last video. So between videos, I've mainly been working on the area at spawn, finishing off the pathwork that I started on the Truly Bedrock livestream weekend. I got to work on prettifying the paths by adding leaves and fences and torches under the ground to light up the area, and then tidying up sections of the area that just weren't very tidy. I then spent quite a long time just going around the entire area where I'd done paths, throwing in my new block palette and just re-landscaping the area to try and make it look a little bit nicer and hide as many of the torches as possible so the area wasn't just full of torch spam. And then Jessie B asked me if I could lend her a wither skull, which of course I did, by hiding it at her base and telling her she had to find it, which she couldn't.
It's going to be in the most obvious place, and
yes, it is literally in the most obvious place. It couldn't be in a more obvious place.
I feel like that's not true. I feel like it could be.
I don't think it could.
Well, then now I'm just sad.
This went on for a while. I started to feel bad for Jessie B, so I gave her some clues. Anyone flying by your tower will probably notice it.
Flying vermin. Okay. Hold, please. Oh, I see it.
Away! Did you find it?
I should have checked there first, to be fair. That very much. I was checking like the downstairs area. Like I thought you left it at like door. No.
No. I put it on the top. And by that point, I'd completely finished doing all of the pathwork around spawn. Hooray! I guess it's time to start the video. Well, that area's certainly looking a lot better now. I have done, as you might be able to see, quite a lot of work in making all of the paths nice and luscious and just a little bit more green. Speaking of things that are just a little bit more green, as we fly towards my game area, you'll see that the archway is now almost fully turned cyany. Well, it's sort of green, isn't turquoise-ish, green. Speaking of my arrowy gamey thing, we still haven't given this thing a name yet, and that is one of the things that I want to do in today's video, go through all of the comments for the ideas of names, of which we've had many, and actually pick one for this game to be called. But before we do any of that, I want to go over to that and get scammed. You see, if you don't know already, Tiz Tom has a history of building scams on the server, which you go to knowingly and get scammed. And why we do this, I don't know, but we do, so I'm going to. And today we have scam 5, and it says come get scammed, so I will. And I did. There's a button and a chest and a book. Have you ever wanted to be scammed? Yes, I want this every day, Tiz. Either way, today is the day. Put 4 diamonds in the chest and push the button once. You will get the coords to follow to get your treasure. You won't die. Putting diamonds in the chest is you signing a contract. You agree to this knowing you were going to get scammed. Okay, sounds wonderful. I can't wait to find our treasure. Unfortunately, though, Tiz has not put in an ender chest, so I have no access to my diamonds. However, I am clever enough to carry one with me, and what I'm going to do for Tiz, although he didn't say I could, is just leave one here so that people have access to their ender chest. So I guess let's do this. We put the 4 diamonds in there, press the button, we get a piece of paper with some coordinates, go to -412 by -339. We got this. And by the looks of things, that's not going to be particularly far away. And while we're going in this direction, we might have a look at the crazy stuff that Mr. Beardstone has been building. Gee whiz, look at this place. This is absolutely ridiculous. However, we do need to keep our eyes on the coordinates. I've already gone way too far. Oh, it's going to be at Tiz's base, isn't it? Gonna be at Tiz's base. Speaking of bases, look at this place as well. Geez, let's land on his pooey sheep, which has been dropped on by that seagull. Check this again. So 339 is there. And 412. Oh, look, there's a book. They all send you to the same place. Go to -203, 110, -433. Jeez. Okay, well, that's not that far away either. And I feel like it's going to be at Mr. Beardstone's base. Fly. Oh, why can you not fly in Mr. Beardstone's base? Because it's too laggy. No, it's not. No. Oh, there we go. Look, a book. Another book. What a wild ride we're going on. Go to 17864 -251. I can do that. I can do that indeed. And I continued to do that. I went to all of the different coordinates and read all of the different books until I realized I was going round in circles. It is. It is. It's where we were going in the first place. Right. Okay. Well, we've been given the exact same coordinates again, which I believe means that we're going in a perpetual loop, which I believe is the scam. So we have been 100% thoroughly trolled by flying around the server in a loop, and having now been, wow, completely scammed, it's time to do something else. And the first thing I'm going to do is make a whole bunch of item frames so that I can put this nice scam thing on the wall to remember that I've been scammed. And I got all these sticks from the witch farm, and it's finally time to use them. Sorry about that, stick man. I didn't save many for you. I hate you. I hate you too. It's fine. It's mutual. And now with many item frames, I can put one below the happy smiley pickle, and I can put the coordinates of Tibbs' scam on there so that I will always remember that I've been scammed. And I'm going to put the rest of them in there, as well as many of these spruce logs that I also seem to have gathered. Put those in there too. And now, before we get on to naming the arrow game that we've got, I'm actually going to go to the entrance area and show you around what I've done up here, because we flew through it very quickly earlier. And there isn't all that much to show really, just a few bits. We've got the paths that we already had, but around the edges, as you can see, we got the fences and the leaf blocks, and we got some underfloor lighting with torches, and we got a whole bunch of variation of different blocks and things, and I think it all goes together quite nicely. We've put on a lot of these white flowers. I've also put in a few dead bushes, and I think it really makes the area just look a little bit more detailed, a little bit more busy, and a little bit more interesting. Now, it's definitely not the best decoration in the world, and it is subject to change. Like here, it would be nice to have a nice fountain or a pond or a water feature or something, and obviously as people build in this area and add things to it, I expect these paths to chop and change and be lined up and meet up with other things as well. But for now, I feel they look a whole lot better than the grass paths that we had here, and for comparison, let's now just hop into an old copy of the world so we can check. And there we go, using the power of multi-instancing, you can see on the left-hand side, we've got Truly Bedrock, which I'm currently joined into, and if I look on the other side, we have a world download from a few days ago where there are no of the new paths that I've added in. And this one is full of torch spam, many torches, and not particularly nice looking paths. Whereas this one, there's almost no torches at all in the areas that I've worked on because all of the lighting's hidden. Anyway, moving on. And moving on to Foxy's game with no name yet. We're going to give it a name. Which means I need to go through all of the comments now and work out which names we've got and which one I like the best. Which I have now done, and I've written all 86 suggestions down in this book. If we turn to page 10, or 11 actually, you will see there are many names, and I'm going to attempt to go through every single one very quickly. And yes, I've already picked my favorite. And I just want to point out here while editing this video that there have been more name suggestions since recording this video. If your name and suggestion is not read out, it's not that I haven't seen it, it's just that this video was probably recorded before you suggested it. So thank you very much for your suggestions.
So, Rubik MC came up with Aquatic Shooters, Blind Shot, Last to Fourth Tower, Walk the Plate. Gas and Garnet came up with Blind Shot. Tony Rody came up with Untitled Bow Off. Mike with Knock Your Block Off. Stuart Connell with Shooting Stars. Colby with Invisi Bow Battle. Zach Curran with Foxy Diced Arrows. And Rumbo Dumbo with Copper Lake Wars. Haywoodles91 came up with Shooty Bang Bang. Laurie Lee Roberts with Poles of Death. Bob with Shooty McArrowface. Libertarian Papa with Blind Bullseye. Papini with Not in Render Bow Splash. Angelo Sakonis with 100 Block Brawl. Lemon with Jeweler's Downfall. Stalking with Lights Out. JW Glass with Hot Shots Taking Pop Shots. Stephen Johnson with De-Rendered Jewel. Dave Aston with Standoff. Jasper Wisser with the game with no name, David S with 100 block challenge, Fishbow with hit the bit, Dennis Swatzenberg with do you even aim bruh, and Phil Berger with shoot and slay. Vexalta said Cupid Towers, and Nathan Luyat suggested Mile High Jewel with Eram EM saying aquatic knockout. Scotty P with can you even aim bro, Victim Born with William Tell No Apple, SGC Tactics with Dunk Tower, Ozrax Zaravich with Lighthouse Knockout and Lights Out, Avoid Odd Law with Blind Shot, Say of Gaming BD with the imaging of Bowfight, Gassy Rose came in with Hit Me If You Can, and Berry Perez came up with Big Spender, literally made them with diamonds bruh, this is how I lost all my diamonds, and Hit Me If You Can. Ed Schaller came up with Death by Foxy, and Brad Haffychuck came up with Centurion Towers or Tower of Hanoi. Master of None came up with Tower Jewel, Beadstone Beware, and Lord Gravitron came up with Shooty Shooty Splash Splash. Scoopy was in with Invisibo Splash, and Razor's Edge with Sniper Jewel Mania. Play Music with Duncan Jewel Nuts, Thunder Knight came up with the Knockoff, and Atomic Sloth X said Knock It Off. Zero Dragon Lord in with 3, Tower Eviction where the winds blow, Hit the Light, Go for a Flight, and Electro DZ with the Splash Arrow Game. Johnny Boy came in with Rocket Tower Shootout. Mr. Pro Ranger with Blind Eye Bow Towers, and Dungeon TNT Minecraft with Knockoff Towers and Rocket Towers. Hassan Anwar came up with Residual, and Nutella Run came up with Invisidual. SG1 Fans with Death Arrow or Death Star. Dylan Vandergriff came in with Secret Sniper, and James Vader had Shooting Stars. Brent T had Shooting for the Stars, Lord of the Bows, the 2 Towers, Falling Stars, and the Last Archer Standing. Rusty Shackleford came in with SMP Knockdown, and Banzito Maid suggested Foxy's Bullseye Blast. Koala Dude with It's a Knockoff, and James Ottoman suggested Splat Bang Boom. Asti Annie came up with Foxy's Furious Fletcher Fight, Stop Jumping Up and Down on the Pressure Plate, and Light Slap came in with Long Shot, which is what I came up with in the last video. Plot also said Long Shots, Unheard Nightmare came up with Shot of the Century, and Underscore came up with Dueling Towers of Death. Danny then came in with Bows at Dawn, another word I can't pronounce, Sharpshooter, Aim or Get Dunk, or Foxy's Good Time. But my absolute 100% most favourite name that I have picked for the name of this game will be, from Bowie E, try not to get shot off the tower before the other guy or gal on the other tower, or you won't get the sparkles, otherwise known as Timskarbogdarty, which I feel has a bit of a ring to it.
And there we go. From 1 side to 3 to fit it all on, we've got Foxy's game entrance. Try not to get shot off the tower before the guy or gal on the other tower, or you won't get sparkles. Done. Nice. Moving on to the next thing. Let's do this. Oh, come on. Fly. Next thing. Jeez. Speaking of next things, having been working in the area for a while, I actually want to check on what we did in the last video, which is making this even newer Dripstone Farm, which is even better than one we had before and still doesn't use any flying machines, believe it or not. And it's grown substantially, and I am desperately wanting to press the button, but I'm going to let it grow even more before I do, because I don't want to see it all break just yet. But yes, working nicely. Do I detect a missing block in the guise of a cocoa bean, or did I just not place one there? I'm going to have to go through old footage and check that, because I'm sure I did. Okay, so here is the clip I recorded of me planting all of those cocoa beans originally, bearing in mind I have not removed any since then. They have all grown fully. Now, will I miss one at that end? Did I miss one? They're all going in so far, and I've run out. No, I've got more. There we go, all in. Didn't miss one. You can see I did not miss one cocoa bean there. So where's that cocoa bean gone? Has somebody come along and stolen it just to wind me up? Has somebody taken it because they needed cocoa beans? And if they did, why that one? It doesn't make any sense. Where are my blocks going? What's going on with this game? We have proof. I planted it and now it's missing. Why? Jeez, this... Oh my God. I can't cope with it right now. Speaking of coping with things right now, I also can't cope with the fact that these walls aren't finished and there's no ceiling this bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. But I'm also starting to think, what's the point? Because I'm going to put in all of those blocks and no doubt they're all just going to disappear for no particular reason. Now, before I get too far into building these walls and things, I am aware that this season of Truly Bedrock, and this is out of character now, we are doing a glitchy series. So things in this season are glitchy and broken and weird, and that's intentional. But these missing blocks are genuinely missing blocks. That's not intentional. This is not part of some storyline. It's not part of me building anything up. I am generally finding that since 1.17, blocks are going missing. And I would like to know if you guys are having the same thing, because it is genuinely starting to drive me round the bend. I am generally starting to question my own sanity and wonder if they are going missing or if I'm just remembering things wrong. Now, we've just seen proof that I planted that cocoa bean. So unless someone else has been down here and removed it, which I genuinely don't think they will have done, then that has gone missing. And we saw it on the tower and we've seen it elsewhere as well. Have you had this problem, or is it just me? Am I just being unlucky? Anyway, right, I've also just remembered there is something else I want to do before I go and build in this wall, and it is very, very important. And it's very, very important because it means getting even more copper, which I believe all of my last lot of copper has actually finished smelting now, which is amazing. Wow, look at all of that copper. That's crazy. It's so much I'm going to have to do 2 trips. Or find a crafting table and just make less of it. But yes, even though I have a copper box which is so full of copper I can't actually fit all of my copper things in it, I still have a thirst for more. And I can get lots of it. Because of my diorite chests. If you may remember, this chest was full of granite and diorite, and this one below was full of diorite as well. In fact, I had diorite all over the place in all of the areas I've been working, to the point where I was even throwing stacks and stacks and stacks away. But just to show you how much I actually did have, there are 13 shulker boxes, no, sorry, 14 shulker boxes of diorite here that I haven't thrown away. And here we go. Zloy is accepting diorite for copper, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chests to be filled in. Well, that's very convenient because that is just the right number of shulker boxes that we're going to be delivering. Which is inevitably going to take me a very, very long time. But it is totally worth it. 100% worth it. And there we go. Zloy now has 12 barrels full of diorite, and I have 9 stacks worth of dung, which I'm now going to replace with many, many coppers. And now, with an Enderman looking at me for some reason, I have a shulker box plus 9 stacks of copper, and Zloy really doesn't have very much copper left in here at all. Although he does still have a giant tower of it that he can break into when he starts running out, I guess. And now my furnace is very happy that it has a full tummy again, which makes me very happy that I have lots more copper. So on that note, now that my furnace has a full belly, I guess it'd be a good idea to be working in this area so that it's got plenty of opportunity to cook all of those nice tasty copper ores. So I guess that brings me right back to here, working on these walls and this ceiling. And while building this wall, I have discovered that my new deep slate farm is also a glow squid farm. Great. I'm never short of a glow squid farm on this season. Seems every time I put water down anywhere, glow squid appear in it and then die. For no particular reason. Speaking of glow squid farms, wouldn't it be nice to make a good one? Oh yes, by the way, the walls are finished. And I've left this gap here because I kind of want to knock through here so that we can make an easy way in and out, well, to that section as well. However, as you've just seen, I've just knocked all of the ladders off that take us to the top of there, which I didn't really want to do. Now, I don't know. Oh, I can have ladders on the side of pistons, in which case there is no problem. None at all until we get to that water there. That could be an issue. And there we go. With the genius of some trapdoors, we now have all of the redstone covered up, and we have a little bit of a roof going on up there as well, which means that has got a nice way through into that area, which means I don't have to go all the way round every time I want to come through to here. That door that doesn't go anywhere. Excellent. Good. Right, glow squid farms. But Foxy, glow signs are really laggy and you shouldn't use them. That is true. Glow signs are very laggy. We have 1 chunk's worth of them here, and that's taken my frames down from 120 to, well, 17, 16. And if I was to put another layer of them here, just 1 more layer like that, is enough to crash out my game. But glow ink sacks can be used for other things, like glow item frames. And I don't think these are laggy. You see, we can have a whole wall of glow signs with no change in frames per second at all. And that's just not 1 wall, that is a whole chunk's worth. 16 by 16 by 16 and no lag at all from those. However, none of them have any items in. I wonder if that makes a difference. And the answer is yes. Yes, it does make a big difference. It's not as bad as glow signs, I guess, but having a chunk's worth of glow item frames with an item in is very, very laggy. In fact, so laggy that having 2 chunks worth takes me down to 10 frames per second, although it hasn't crashed my world yet. So let's try 3 chunks. And if we stand far enough back to get them all on screen, we're down to 6 frames a second. Jeez. And now for the ultimate test. I have loaded 4 chunks worth in now, so let's turn around to get them all into view. Are we going to crash? Can we get below 6? We are now at 4 frames per second. 4 frames a second. So yes, glow item frames with a glow item inside is very laggy. You're just copying what Silent Whisper did in his recent video. Well, believe it or not, I actually had all of this prepared before Silent put that video out. I was planning on doing one myself, so I thought rather than put out a competing video, seeing as he's one of my server mates, I'll squeeze it into my Trudy Bedrock one. And here we go. I want to do a couple more tests. See, I want to know whether the issue we've got with these is the glow item frame itself, or is it the item inside it? So I'm going to do 2 more of those. I'm going to make a full chunk with just item frames, and then I'm going to do a full chunk with just item frames with items in and see if we also get lag. And then I'm going to do the glow item for the glow item frames. With a different... I need to delete those from the world. Yeah, with a different item in. Jeez, yeah, I need to wipe all of those things from my world. There's too many of them. Phil... where I am to 16 blocks by 16 blocks by 16 blocks away from me with air. Oh, I got rid of my grass now. Jeez, I didn't want to get rid of the grass, mate. And now the grass is fixed. Excellent. Right, next test. Well, after doing many testings, I can confirm that the issue is not the glow item frame, and it's not the glow item, because if we go over and just look at that, that is a full chunk of item frames. Now, the frames per second are looking low, but that's because if we look behind it, there are a whole bunch of item frames, just normal ones, with normal items that don't glow in there, and they are just as laggy as the glow item frames with the glow item in. So it's just having items in item frames that is laggy. Now, the problem I've got here is difficult to demonstrate to you because of the way I've put all of these chunks in, but this one here that is just item frames, believe it or not, if you can look at this without looking at those other 2 things, which is very difficult now because of how I've positioned everything, it's not laggy at all. So if I come over here, for instance, and get rid of all of those, just like that, and I come back over here and I get rid of all of these, like that, and now we just go and look at these item frames completely empty. You'll see there's absolutely no lag there at all. So knowing all this, why on earth would I want to build a glow squid farm? And the answer is, well, because it's fun. I thought I was going bonkers for a moment. You know how we've had all of these missing blocks? Well, now my trapdoors have gone all squiffy. And I was about to tell you that I thought this was part of the bug, but of course there is redstone behind here, so every time this thing goes off, my trapdoors are going to flap, which is a little bit annoying. Now, if I steal the doors off the front, and I put them in a position where they are naturally closed, when the redstone goes off, I believe... Ah, no, we need to flip them the other way. Yeah, so we put the doors this way round, right? And now... they're going to open and close again, you see? Genius. Absolute genius. Unfortunately, we are still going to get a bit of weird flappage going on with the trapdoor above it. But you can't have everything, can you? You know, that's an improvement, sort of. And we didn't need those doors there anyway. In fact, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that glass there. Grab a little bit more andesite. And just make that little bit blend in with everything else. I think that looks better. And we can probably get rid of those. Don't need those anymore. And put... in fact, that's it. That's all we needed to do. That's better. Nice. We've got a much better transition going through there. We do have to walk over a chest. It's not the end of the world. Now I can put all of this junk away. What about the glow squid farm? Yeah, we'll do it in a minute. You're putting it off, aren't you? Yes, I don't want to build it. You telling me after all of that stuff, testing glow squid stuff, you don't actually want to build the glow squid farm? Yes. Okay, so doing a little bit more to put off building the glow squid farm, I come to the other area of my base where I knew there was walls missing, and what would you believe? Look, 3 blocks have gone missing from this one. Why? Where have they gone? I know they were there. I finished this bit. Why? Where? What's going on? I honestly, genuinely, is anyone else having this? And are they having it so regularly? It's driving me bananas. I don't understand. Why these 3? Out of everything that's in here, why? Oh my. Anyway, I'm going to finish off doing this section of the base now, so it's all nicely finished off. And then, I think I'm in a stupid glow squid farm. And now that these walls are all finished as well, after everything that's gone on with the missing blocks and me being entirely frustrated and feeling like I'm losing my mind, I'm going to give up. I'm not playing Minecraft anymore, certainly not Bedrock Edition, until it's fixed and they stop stealing our...
Number 7 has gone offline.
What was the event?
Frustration.
Reset number 7. Bring it back online.
Number 7 is not responding to reset conditions.
Then deactivate number 7.
Number 7 is deactivated.
Switch monitoring to number 8.
Monitoring on number 8 has been initialized.
What was the fork?
This timeline is yet to divert from the original.
Then no intervention is necessary at this point.